Siri, see you on the 7th.
I can't wait for National Acorn Squash Day either. Not if I see you first, and the 8th, and the 9th, and the 10th. In fact, I'll be here all year. Be there or be heptagonal.
We know that something's cooking with Apple once Siri has all of these witty responses. Every time there's a new event, she always has some new ones. So Apple's actually went out and announced the new event that's going to be taking place on September 7th. That is 8 days away, and we will know exactly what the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are. So I am so excited, guys. And you know, while we're waiting, I have a lot of information to share with you. There have been more leaks, a lot of specs, just a lot of details about these upcoming devices that I wanted to summarize and share with you in this video as we count down the days until the release. So let's get started. And of course, the biggest news is that Apple has announced this event is taking place on September 7th. They've sent out their invites with an image. The image is a bit cryptic. You can tell that it has the outline of the Apple logo in a bouquet of light, but other than that, really doesn't share anything. It's dark. The dark could mean two things. One, it could be a dark iPhone is on the way, the rumored space black color, of course. Two, a night mode that they've kept hidden in iOS 10 could finally be revealed, and it'll be the big hurrah of the OS. I'm hoping for both, but probably it's the dark iPhone color. Other than that, really you can't tell much from it. Kind of a cool image, but at least we know the event is taking place finally. So what are we going to see at this actual event? Guaranteed the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, somewhat likely the Apple Watch 2 with GPS capability. It's been long rumored to launch alongside the iPhone 7. Guaranteed iOS 10. We're going to be seeing the GM final build before release somewhat later in the month, I believe. And very unlikely the MacBooks to be released at this event. It's just going to take away from the iPhone 7's, big moments, or vice versa. The iPhone 7 will take away from the MacBook. No scenario is likely here, so it's better that Apple will have a separate event in October for the MacBooks. So now we know the iPhone 7 event will happen on the 7th. Of course, Apple had to make those numbers match up. Previously, we believed it to be 5th to 6th, but pretty close. So as far as the rest of the scheduling goes, the 9th will be the pre-order date the very same week. And this is actually because of a leaked AT&T retail schedule. Basically tells us they'll get new merchandise in, basically shifting things around on the 9th and the 23rd. 9th being the pre-orders, and the 23rd being the actual hands-on date of the iPhone. So pushed back from an earlier estimate of the 16th, it totally makes sense. I mean, it's more in line with the past scheduling where a week to 2 weeks is normal to wait between announcement and getting the iPhone. And surprise, surprise, just like every other year we hear about this, the iPhone 7 will be facing supply shortages. This time around because of low yield of parts from suppliers. So for us as consumers, that means it might be a little bit difficult to get one after a few days after launch. So last year wasn't so bad. We heard the same news and I was still able to get one at least a week after release. After then, that's when the low supply shortages basically come into play. But you should be able to snag one after a few days. So if you're wondering which one to get, the most difficult one, I will tell you for a fact, will be the iPhone 7 Plus in space black. Just because it's a new color every single year, every time there's been a new color, the gold, the rose gold, those always sell out first. Just because it's a new color, it's something original. So if you want to get one that's unique, it's going to be the space black one. That's going to be the one that's sold out almost instantly. And the fact that Apple is going to be producing 10 million units less of the iPhone 7 versus last year certainly won't help you guys get one at launch. And Makatakara is reporting the new color of the iPhone 7 will not be replacing space gray. They're calling it a gloss black. So very similar to the Mac Pro, it'll be a shiny texture on the iPhone 7 and it'll blend very well with the front of the display. It'll just be a pitch black iPhone. I'm very excited for that actually. If they threw in a dark mode, that would be perfect and I hope they do. If not, I hope we can at least jailbreak the phone so I can install it myself. Imagine, pitch black iPhone murdered out with a completely black interface. That would be awesome. And their proof is basically they have the SIM card trays, the black ones from the iPhone 7 that they showed in this image, and we've heard about it everywhere else. Everybody seems to collaborate on this one rumor that the space black, gloss black iPhone will be happening. Of course, the banner that Apple released with their event invite certainly helps reaffirm that. Some very good news for anyone that wants to get the smaller 4.7-inch iPhone 7, not the larger Bender model. So it will be getting optical image stabilization. Courtesy of French blog Nowhere Else, they actually got their hands on some leaked images of the camera sensor for the iPhone 7, and we can see that it does have optical image stabilization. The little dots on the side of the lens basically indicate that that will be happening. This is very good news because Apple won't be forcing you to go to the larger iPhone 7 Plus size just to get this small feature that seems like every phone has nowadays. So very, very good news. I was very happy to learn this one. Also wanted to point out that optical image stabilization helps immensely with low light photography. Another explanation for this dark banner could be taking pictures in more low light environments, and especially now that we've learned the specs of the iPhone 7 camera, which I'll share with you in just a little bit, it would help immensely taking pictures in the dark, getting that bouquet with the lights that they showed in the banner. So another possible explanation for that. And yup, the actual specs of the iPhone 7 have leaked in this image. Something very curious to me is the fact that the water resistance is tacked onto the iPhone 7, not the 7 Plus in this one. I don't know if that's a mistake because we heard in the past that it would be exclusive for the 7 Plus. Hopefully it's on both phones, but it's curious that they're showing it on the iPhone 7 in this leaked spec image. Otherwise, the specs that we're looking at here, nothing too surprising. A10 chip, M10 coprocessor, really nothing new there. 2 gigabytes of RAM on the standard model, 3 on the larger Plus model. We already knew that. But it's the camera specs that we haven't heard about before. So we have an f1.9 aperture, which is basically the same as the Galaxy S7. Even the micrometer size of the sensor is at 1.4 versus 1.4 of the Galaxy S7, leading me to believe this is almost the very same sensor. Sony produces the sensor for the S7. Like I said in the past, they would be using that in the iPhone 7, very likely. And here it is. We might actually be seeing the Galaxy S7 camera in the iPhone 7. It also says that the megapixel count will stay at 12 megapixels for both the 7 and 7 Plus. However, the 7 Plus will have 2 of these cameras with the f1.9 apertures. So very curious to see what that's going to be like on the larger camera, taking pictures, low light, all that. I'll be sure to test it, of course. Batteries, 1960 mAh and 2910 milliamps on the larger iPhone 7 Plus. So pretty much we knew this already. And images of the actual Apple A10 chips have leaked. These are in 16 nanometer construction, so nothing new, doesn't tell us anything, just the actual components. The A10 chips have leaked. Thought that was interesting. Also, fast charging Apple version on the iPhone 7 is rumored to happen. So this is an unconfirmed rumor. Take this with a grain of salt, but we could actually be seeing faster charge speeds on the iPhone 7 thanks to some changes in the circuitry on the board. And a Twitter leaker, The Malignant, is reporting that 32 gigabyte base storage on the iPhone 7 will be happening. A prototype that was issued out was returned, and on the sticker, plain as day, 32 gigabytes is legible as the base storage. So basically just confirming that 16 gigabytes is long gone already. And Spigen, eager to sell their cases for the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, have already posted them up for sale online. So if you had any doubts about the design of the 7 or 7 Plus, well, this is it. This is the final version confirmed by a huge case manufacturer. And will the iPhone 7 be called the iPhone 6 SE? I already covered this why it won't happen, but now we have new packaging that supposedly shows the 6 SE is actually going to happen. Well, not so fast. There are a lot of inconsistencies on the packaging, spelling errors. So is this going to happen? No. Pretty convincing, but not going to be the real deal. All right, so that's just about it for the current iPhone coming out in about a week. Let's move on to where the true innovation is going to be happening in the future. So Apple's going to be using organic LED next year on the 2017 iPhone. We know this, but now a new rumor is suggesting that it's only going to be a transitioning technology. Apple isn't planning to stay with organic LED. They're actually developing their own technology, micro LED. It's far superior to OLED because it's thinner, lighter, brighter, more energy efficient, allows for higher color gamuts, even higher resolution. So it's certainly a superior technology to organic LED that Samsung uses, pretty much every major smartphone manufacturer does, and Apple wants to be on top of the game. Plus, there's the whole issue about differentiating your technology from competitors. So OLED versus micro LED, there will be a huge battle in the future, and Apple wants to be on the winning side with micro LED. So that's why they're developing this technology to be used in future iPhones. Organic LED that they're going to be using next year is pretty much just a transitioning period. They're not going to stick with it for long. So Intel and Apple are partnering up for the iPhone 7 this year to produce the LTE modem. We've heard this, but a future partnership in 2018 and beyond could have Intel be making 100% of the processors, the A-series processors, for the iPhone. So they would cut out TSMC, Samsung, and just produce them in-house here in America with Intel. And Bloomberg is reporting that next year the iPhone coming will have absolutely no home button, just nothing on the front of the display. Instead, they say that there will be a heavy software reliance on the home button. So it could be 3D touch, it could be an on-screen control, but Apple will eliminate the home button completely next year. And Nikkei Asian Review has reported that next year we will see a third model of the iPhone 8. So it didn't happen this year, but next year it will. This third model will have the larger 5.8-inch wraparound displays, very similar to the Galaxy S7 right now. So it will mimic that a little bit, but it'll be far superior in other ways, supposedly. And guys, there it is. That's the latest developments on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. 8 days to go. I know a lot of people aren't too excited for it just because not a lot has changed, but if you really think about it, most people's 2-year contracts are ending right now. A lot of people are in a place where they need to upgrade, and the iPhone 7 will be a very solid upgrade to the iPhone 6s. It won't be completely revolutionary like the 5 or iPhone 6 have been, but still, it'll be a very nice and healthy upgrade. And yeah, I'm going to be covering everything about it. If you guys have any special video requests, leave them down below. I will try and check them out. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay tuned for the event coming very soon. Peace.